Welcome back to another Ranma 1/2 Abridged VFX BTS. Well, that's a lot of letters. Well, we'll be looking at the VFX I worked on for part 2 of Ranma 1/2 the Abridged movie. We start things off with me already in the thick of it. Moving scenes are always difficult due to the constant motion, which makes working on precise effects even harder. For this, I needed to make Pichon look angry. So I created 2 solids in the shape of angry eyebrows. To complete this effect, I needed to motion track Ranma. He was one of the only things I could use for this track, since everything else in the scene was moving at a different pace. Once everything is moving at the same pace, I can refine the mask, and we're done. Moving right along, we have this shot here where Akane is attacking Kirin. We wanted to have his reflection in her eyes, so I took a still of him and used the ellipse tool to mask him out. This already gave me a base shape of the eye. I then dropped the opacity and heavily feathered the edges. Once the effect looks good, we gotta keyframe him into position. This wasn't especially hard considering how often I've done stuff like this in the past. Behold! This is what happens when my power goes unchecked. I figured it'd be boring if Genma was holding up kanji on his signs, so I took the liberty to do whatever the hell I wanted. Most of these were easy. Motion tracking and playing with keyframes got me what I wanted for the most part. Place a solid over the sign, match the colors, and then place whatever I wanted on top of that. It was actually this one here that was actually a bit more difficult. I actually couldn't get a good track point for some reason. It started off good, but always veered off. This was proving too difficult for After Effects to handle, so I needed to bring things into Mocha. Mocha is a program specifically designed for motion tracking, and a bare bones version of it comes bundled inside of After Effects. Now this was the first time I even touched the program, so it took me a while to get things just the way I wanted, but eventually I was able to get the tracking data and bring it back over into After Effects. Now, I wasn't originally going to talk about lip syncing, but I need to address Sone. He does not move his mouth at all in this shot, but we need him to be talking, which means I have to take him to Photoshop and clone tool the fuck out of him. I had to rebuild his neck, shirt, and his lower jawline. This is the effect that made me level up. Now, this last effect was not planned. I just decided to see if I could surprise the team with a random joke. I do this a lot in Ranma because someone thought it'd be a good idea to put me in charge. Big mistake. Never give an editor absolute power. I noticed that Lychee looked sad here. Aww. So I figured I'd throw in a typical anime sad aura. This was too easy. I created a new layer with fractal noise, changed the blend mode to screen, then animated the noise. Fractal noise is the key ingredient in an effect that I'm dying to talk about, but we'll save that for part 3. There we go, part 2 done and done. I know not as many effects this time around, but hey, we did do a lot of motion tracking, which has its own challenges. Especially since I was using Mocha and I've never used Mocha before. But don't worry, we've still got plenty of VFX left in part 3. Abridged VFX!
How dare you strike Kirin in the face? What you have done is paramount to pissing on the Statue of Liberty, or slapping Buddha in the testicles.
Anyone knows Kuno floating in the water?
Yeah, no one does.
I just did too. Kuno's like dying in the water.
No one cares. Just let me die.